What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the post-fight show, Levels post-fight, for a couple of different events. I mean, we had some really exciting boxing, and of course, we just saw UFC 257. And Cece, I got my Poirier's hot sauce right here.
He had some
And
too.
Dustin Poirier must have put some of this on that 2-piece and a biscuit he just handed out to one Conor McGregor. Donnell, what's up, babe?
What's up, Goose?
What a KO, Goosey. Yes. Okay, so I know you're flustered because you were screaming. I think the neighbors are going to call the cops on you.
Yeah, there was a lot of cussing going on here. My daughter screamed downstairs, "What the hell is the matter with you?" I was like, "Hey."
Things is happening. Things is happening.
Yeah, I understand, why people get into dust-ups after fights. Because, I'm still buzzing. Energy is everywhere. Had to do something.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. You mix that with alcohol, and then you're in Vegas, and then there you see
that. Then the cops got to get called.
But what an amazing, I thought it was a great card from beginning to end, but really a great main card.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to get to that Conor McGregor flatlining, career-altering KO. But let's talk first real quick about your guy, Rasim Aleem.
Yeah,
his win over his, I think he took the WBA title from Macias, right?
Yeah, he looked great at 122. And what I like about Aleem is he's just thug, man. He just comes in to bang. He can box. Really good foot movement. His footwork is amazing. Morning, fam. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's right. What time is it on the East Coast? I don't even know what time is it now. Jeff, we all know the post-fight press conference is probably happening momentarily. I haven't heard yet if Conor has been transported. Usually after a KO, you will not hear from that fighter, but you might hear from McGregor because he just, they paid him $10 million. Make it rain like that.
Yeah,
and then
I don't know if it was a bad enough KO where we won't see him. I don't think he didn't get KO'd flat, but he definitely took a couple of shots to the freaking bone.
Yeah. Well, he did say, but back to Rasim, Rais. Rais is Vegas-based now. He's got really quality sparring partners. Of course, he's under the Mayweather umbrella. We're going to see him at 122. Some people are going to have to see about Rais Aleem, and I'm happy for him. And it was a good fight. He dominated, though. I mean, it's hard to say it was a good fight. It was a good performance by Rais. Dominant.
I think it was a good coming out play.
It's if you didn't know, now you know.
We always try to highlight our local Vegas fighters, especially when they're on bigger cards and everything. And Aleem, he put Macias on skates, man. He put him on ice skates at his legs. He was doing the what do they call it? What the kids call it anymore?
The stanky leg.
There you go, stanky leg.
I was surprised it went 11 though, because he was touching him early and often. I was just wondering, how long the corner was just going to let that go.
Yeah, absolutely. So good for Aleem. We're going to see a lot more from him, and then right into your boy Leo-Fulton. And we've had Leo-Fulton and we've had Angelo Leo on, and I know Ralph is really good friends with Angelo Leo, so I know this one kind of stings personal, but it was a really, really good fight.
Yeah, cool boy Steph brought the Philly to the ring tonight and looked really good. And what's crazy? I thought that fight was closer on the cards, but not that much closer. Maybe 1 point I would have given. Here or there, I gave Angelo one additional round, but other than that, it was a dominant performance. And Fulton beat Angelo Leo at his own game. Stayed close, went to the body. Over and over again. And I was at some point watching it, do you feel suffocated? I was like, man, can somebody establish a jab? Because I just can't breathe. Y'all just on each other too much.
That was some good phone booth fighting.
Yeah.
They didn't want to give an inch. You talk about two. It's boxing gets into this rhythm where they don't want the young guys to mix it up. They got to protect those perfect records and things like that. But when it's the rare case where you get two young, hungry, very talented fighters that get into the ring together, they don't want to give an inch, man. And that's what we saw. And it was a really good fight. And, I think from about the 5th round on, it was all Fulton. But Angelo Leo has a bright future, man. He's a talented kid, and there's no shame in losing to a guy like cool boy Steph, man. Really, really good fight, man. And that had my blood going before the main event or main card ever got going for UFC.
All these apparatus going on, all kinds of trying to find out what's going on. I mean, it was a ton of NBA on too.
Multiple screens. It's Twitter, it's Facebook, it's banning certain people because they give away things before you ever get a chance to see them, depending on your time zone. What's up, Sarah Lopez? Oh no, yes, the shit talking king goes down. Yeah, absolutely.
The good guy won. Good guy beat the notorious guy.
The good guy won, man. The good guy won. But before we do that, Michael freaking Chandler, man. He has, he was Bellator's biggest star for years and years, still flew under the radar. How would he perform? Where so many other guys who have made that jump from Bellator to UFC have kind of crumbled in their first fights, didn't look as good, or, whatever the nerves got to him. Michael Chandler freaking delivers.
And Chandler, to me, looked very nervous and unsettled coming into the cage. I felt like the moment was getting to him a little bit. But then as soon as, the lights went on, it seems like Hooker seemed like he wasn't ready. He didn't have a chance.
Oh, no.
He didn't have a chance. I don't know what was going on. Well, what was it? It was 9 a.m. for them. I had said at a certain point, some of those guys were fighting at 4 a.m, which is kind of like just coming out the club or the bar and you get into a scrap. Some of them were used to that. But then, I forget what fight it was. Like, it'd been so much, but somebody just kept getting hit in the huevos. And I felt like 5 a.m. is kind of too early to be getting hit in the huevos over and over again.
You win.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, 4 a.m. I ain't trying to be kicked in the balls at 4 a.m.
I think it was like twice.
You got him twice. But yeah, man, great introduction of Michael Chandler to.
Did you have him winning that fight? Did you think he was going to take it? Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you see?
I think what Michael Chandler is. Extremely dangerous. I like his movement. I like his pressure. I think it was either way. Either way, you could have gone that because it's really hard to score, and I don't envy judges a whole lot, man. But Michael Chandler is an incredibly fast-paced, pressure kind of fighter, which oftentimes will get him into trouble because his own momentum a lot of times will carry him into punches and combinations. And you've seen him before; he's been caught by guys that he probably should have no business catching Michael Chandler, but he lives by it, he dies by it, and we saw tonight against Dan Hooker, a really, really tough, talented, also another pressure fighter, and he just looked overwhelmed. He was just once the cage was closed, Michael Chandler got comfortable again. It looked like a different level.
And then he hit the backflip off of the top of the cage, and he was like, "Hello, is it me you're looking for?" Because then he called everybody out. Come in, Connor. Well,
he called Ariel. He called
right. He want to fight Schmo.
I think he mentioned a Fertitta brother. But all of that stuff, man. And I know they gotta hold their breath whenever these guys go to the top of their cage. Gaethje and now Chandler, these guys go to the top of the cage, man. Because and Chandler has the freaking ankle injury history, man.
No,
crazy, man! If he would have broke something.
Thinking that's what. But you know what? He called everybody out. He's gonna get somebody. He's gonna get. I mean, Habib ain't coming back for Michael Chandler. That's not gonna happen. But hey, he's a top 5 guy.
Nurmagomedov is only coming back for one guy. That's GSP, or if they back up the truck, for some kind of amount of money unheard of for Conor for some reason. But after this ass whooping that Conor just took, I think the shine's off that a little bit.
Well, the rumor is, so we know that Conor got $5 million off the rip just to show up, and then he's going to get some back end money. It's possible up to $20 million is what he's expecting. I don't know how much that goes down, given that he lost the fight. Dustin got 1 million. So they backed the truck up already. And think about this. So he got 3 mil just to fight Donald Cerrone. The big significance, I actually wrote about this. Check out lvsportsbiz.com. The story's up. The significance for Conor McGregor getting $5 million just to show up for this fight is there's no live gate, or very little live gate. I think the live gate was like 17 million for when he fought Cerrone. So, it's a big deal that they're giving him that much money. And he lost!
Yeah, and that's what the once you get to that level, I don't think it really affects it. I mean, you have all those contracts and things like that. But, where does this guy go from here? I mean, it's definitely not the end. McGregor's not going to let it end like that. He's not going to walk off into the sunset with a TKO loss. But he's definitely going to need some more Donald Cerrone type fights to get some shine back.
There's some fights at lightweight that he can take.
There's some fights. There's still fights. I mean, there's still Tony Ferguson. There's Justin Gaethje and everything. There right now, we're seeing that
he best not have
you guys
Gaethje
are
next.
happening for they're jostling for position. Man, this is what it's all about.
Michael Chandler.
Poirier finishes McGregor. So I mean, you have Gaethje and you have Ferguson, who just lost a couple, so he's kind of in it, but not really. He's more on the outskirts now with McGregor. And then you have Michael Chandler and Dustin Poirier for the belt.
Yeah.
Why not?
Chandler is here, y'all. You can't deny it. And what Dustin was able, he took Conor smooth, had him. And so something can be said. I saw like a quick tweet come across. I believe it was Conor who said it, that you just cannot be inactive for that long. Especially, he's not a true lightweight, and I know that it took him some time to get down, and he took his time to actually get back down to 155 and to look good feel good anyway at 155. It's a rhythm thing, you have to you got to get in the real reps.
Fighter. McGregor, you are absolutely right. McGregor is a rhythm fighter, and when McGregor was doing his thing and running shop and wrecking guys up, he was fighting consistently and all of that, all those things that rhythm fighter needs. And yes, COVID has messed with everyone, but there's also the other side, man. Conor doesn't need the money. You can shave your head, you can take all the Instagram pictures you want, you can do all that stuff, but bro, when you ain't that hungry, and you make more from your proper 12, residual.
Who was a key sponsor for tonight? Actually, I took a screenshot of it, him walking into the arena there with proper 12, and they were like, they even did the tag, the sponsor tag, this main event sponsored by proper 12. Like, when you ain't hungry, you don't go to the buffet all that often.
Hey. Yeah, and then, you talk the opposite of two different fighters. You see you guys that have fought before, which, of course, McGregor won the first one, but Dustin Poirier is still building that legacy, man. Poirier's in there. He's mixing it up. He does all the incredible things he does outside of the cage. And again, this hot sauce is incredible.
What's the name of the hot sauce again?
It's Poirier's Louisiana-style hot sauce. Very simple. It's got a big diamond on it that's on fire and everything. I think I'll tell you about this in a second after we're done with the fights. But you're talking about two guys that are in the same field and have fought and are the same age and things like that, but on two different trajectories. Poirier's still hungry, man. Poirier's still he got a piece of the belt, but he didn't get the whole belt. He got the interim title, and then he didn't quite win the belt. So he's still technically chasing that belt. And when you're still even technically chasing that belt, it's a different fire than when you can take the sport and leave the sport.
It could be his. It could be his.
you could totally be fine without it. It's a different level of hunger. It's a different level of pushing yourself in the gym and things like that. And these are not the same fighters that Conor beat up on. Okay,
No.
Max Holloway is not the same kid
No.
that Conor McGregor took out a couple of years ago. Dustin Poirier is not the same kid that he took out a few years ago. These guys have caught up, man. And Poirier is in a rhythm. He's in a good one. He beat up Dan Hooker. He's he's in that rhythm, man. So good for Dustin Poirier. I'm really excited for him.
I
And
think
hopefully it
too,
needs a real shot.
with Conor, he's he's a true lightweight. He, even though he moonlights at welterweight, he's not a welterweight. He is a true lightweight. And in that division, there are some guys now, like you said, they done caught up with you. What was interesting with Dustin, as they raised his hand, he kind of took it down real fast and he pointed to Conor and he said 1-1. He's a 1 for 1, and like he's still, his name of his foundation is called the Good. I think it's the Good Fight. It's called the Good Fight, and Conor has agreed to donate $500,000 to the Good Fight. So you had the good guy versus the notorious, and the good guy actually won, and you don't see that very often in the fight game. And so I was just giddy, like the way he got it done. I was just. Conor came out first tonight too. I was surprised at that.
Yeah.
I wonder how they decided that.
Hey man, I'm sure it was McGregor's team, and I have a feeling that McGregor thought, I waxed this kid before. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to wax him again. And it's just, Poirier's not the same. That's not the same fighter, man. He's not the same guy. And we've seen it before. We've seen it with guys like Stipe Miocic, who also was announced, facing off with Francis Ngannou, in a few weeks and everything. So
Francis is here training in Vegas.
Yeah, he's here in Vegas. So he loves Vegas. He loves
training with our pal Dewey Cooper, actually.
But a few years ago, when Stipe was getting starched by Stefan Struve, no one thought this is going to be the baddest man on the planet at heavyweight. He's going to be the greatest heavyweight of all time. He was getting starched left and right, but then he goes, and whatever it is, whether it's a training differential, whether it's whatever it is that clicks for fighters in those moments, they go on those incredible tears, and all of a sudden Stipe is a world beater who's probably, if he gets past Francis Ngannou, who's probably lining up with John Jones next.
Yeah.
Or maybe true GOAT talk right there. But, I think Dustin Poirier is maybe on that sort of run, man. I mean, he can face off against Chandler, which is not an easy fight, which would be a really great fight for that lightweight belt.
Yep.
And you could be seeing a totally different side of the diamond.
Do you have a problem with Michael Chandler leapfrogging all of those guys to get a title shot?
No, I don't. Because however much they want to look down on Bellator and say Bellator is not a close second to UFC, blah, blah, blah. We have the best fighters. Bellator is closed ranks. That is a major world title. It doesn't matter what Dana White thinks. It's a very major title, and he's beaten some very good guys, including a former UFC champion and Eddie Alvarez. The Pitbull brothers over there who could easily be champions in UFC, Brent Primus and all those guys. They're really talented. It's not the Bellator of old. They have they have some depth at that division. And so Michael Chandler, who was a long time, and is a big enough star to come in and do that too.
Right. If anybody's going to come in,
if anyone from Bellator or another organization that's going to come in, I could back in the day it may have been Fedor. Fedor versus Brock. Yeah. Fedor could have come in and challenged for the title right away just because of his name alone. And Michael Chandler had built up a good enough following where. Yeah, I'm not.
Because you look at the top five. I mean, who else? You got Gaethje, who just had a title shot, and so you kind of got to go back to the bottom of the pile for something like that. I mean, Tony. I'm not Tony Ferguson. His last two fights have not shown us that actually he should be in the title contention conversation anymore. Yeah. And I think there's something else going on with Tony. It's almost like his brain is seeing a fight that ain't happening in front of him. so it's kind of like caught up to him in that way. But so you got Chandler in that conversation. You still have Dustin, of course, in that conversation, kind of Gaethje on the outside. Is that it? I mean,
Rafael dos Anjos, Charles Olivier is now high. He's ranked top 5.
yes,
But
yes.
even
Alvarez as well.
Dos
Yes.
Anjos is what 1-2 in his last 3. So but he was fighting at a different weight class, and everything. But Charles Olivier is a
Alvarez,
long time stalwart.
I would put him absolutely in that conversation. But I know I'm feeling you, MP. Like it was just like, I mean, I'm still buzzing. I'm still buzzing. Like, dang, man. I mean, yeah. The card started off a little bit slowly for me, but it definitely did build up once we got to the main card. There were some stand up. I mean, the fight of the night is, gosh, who is the fighter? The knockout of the night has got to be Dustin, just because of the whole magnitude of that whole thing. And I think he definitely proved his damn point.
Yeah, he proved his point, and I think they both did. With Chandler and Poirier, that's got to be the fight you make next. If Nurmagomedov is done, and he seems like he is done at least for now, then there you go. You have.
Does he come back for Dustin? Like, is that compelling for him?
No, he beat up Dustin. He beat him up. That different level, man. I'm telling you, the only way, because Nurmagomedov doesn't. He's not a guy like Conor that money is his motivator.
Right.
Never has been. His legacy was his motivator. His dad was his biggest pusher of that legacy. With his dad not there, the only fight that he sees is worth coming back for is GSP, and that's not going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen, man. And even if it does happen, we're years too late for that. It's like Manny and Floyd. It's just like, would it be cool? Would people watch? Yeah, but it, in terms of relevancy, I think we
deserve better. We deserve better. Did you see the clip of Dana and Habib's ear saying, Conor and Dustin are trending higher than you and Conor? Can you imagine what you and Conor would do now? It'd be effing amazing. But dude.
Yeah, man, I don't.
Even if it was 100 mil, like for what? They would have to be able to sell an arena. There was some rumors about ticket prices going on Yas Island, like to the tune of close to $20,000 in those front row seats. But still, how many of those can you sell?
Yeah, and that's one of those fights with that you would need that live gate. Man, there's no way that UFC is going to give them $100 million for no one in the arena and taking all that, hoping that they are right. And he's been wrong before about how things are trending online and everything. It all comes out of pay-per-view sales and everything. I think a very interesting fight is going to be over this next couple of days to see how many of these illegal streamers that Uncle Dana caught after all of that push that he was going to.
But no, did you hear about the ESPN Plus?
Oh yeah, I heard people were having trouble with it.
It went down for most of the West Coast for like an hour and a half. People paid for their stream, and the sucker went down. But you see, it was a bad loss for. Hey, Jose, it's definitely a bad loss for Conor. But here's the thing: is this a type of loss that he had like against Diaz, and he bounces back? Or was this a type of loss that exposes something and now other fighters can exploit it and he does not make it back? We won't know until the next fight, but I think, it's a worthwhile question.
I think it's an eye-opening fight for Conor McGregor. How much does this mean to him anymore? Was just putting money in the bank the thing that separated him from all of this enough to where, I get punched in the head for this. I know he's an egotistical guy. He's prideful and things like that. Yeah. So he doesn't want to go out on a loss like this. But let's be honest, man. in most people's minds, he should have starched Dustin Poirier, just like he did the first time. Okay. If this is not an eye-opening fight, or an eye-opening loss, I should say, his first KO loss, his first of all the bangers that Conor McGregor has been in there with, Dustin freaking Poirier is the guy that KOs you. Wow, man!
And it wasn't even like a submission. He just took you smooth out.
He, your movement and everything else, that thing that separated you from so many of these guys. And Dustin basically just stood right in front of you and just had answers to all your dips and dives and everything. He just stood right in there and just blasted away on you, man. So
it was amazing because Dustin he's slower than Conor. Like he's not a naturally quick guy.
No, it's like watching Chris Weidman beat up on Anderson Silva, man. He didn't get lucky. Those are on purpose punches. That's good training in the gym. That's good coaching. Those punches were crisp, and they were right on that hook that caught him, and then the follow-ups and everything else. Those are crisp. He wasn't just winging wild punches in there. That was on purpose.
That was fight plan. That was good.
Does it motivate Conor to get back in there, to get where he needs to be Conor McGregor? Or does he see the writing on the wall and try to cash a few more checks before he bounces out again?
Well, I mean, I think there would be an appetite for the trilogy, but here's the problem for Conor is that Dustin is on his way to a championship fight. If Dustin wins the belt, you're not going to see Conor right back in as the number one contender. It's going to be, 2-3 other guys. So, I mean, I think that's why I agree is the appetite there to make the climb, and he's going to have some thoughts and some excuses as well. Yes, the time off was probably a factor in terms of the rhythm and all that. He showed up tonight in that Phantom, in the Phantom Rolls Royce and the tailor-made suit. Did you see Dustin come in? Jeans and a t-shirt, man.
Yeah.
Jeans and a t-shirt. That's it. And the regular company issued, car. I think it was probably the regular limo that they have him come in, and that's it. His team, ATT came in. They were just all business. You saw Matt Brown come in and just,
Hey, he's got a serious team around him. Okay, he's and I'm not saying John Kavanaugh is a serious guy and everything, but you got to think about all the other shit that Conor McGregor gets into between fights, whether he's guilty or not guilty, the partying, the lifestyle, the got to be a celebrity kind of thing. Dustin Poirier has made money. Okay, he's not a poor guy. Okay, he just made $1 million on a disclosed salary for this fight and everything, but he's made money over the course of the and everything. But it's a different mindset, man. It's a different. Dustin Poirier is not trying to be a superstar. He ain't trying to hang out with J-Lo and all this stuff.
He's from Louisiana.
Well, he's a country boy from Louisiana. He's got a banging ass hot sauce. I wish I owned stock in this.
I'm having to get some. We're big on hot sauce in this house. I make my own hot sauce.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this.
Hey, Khabib weighed in on the fight. Can you pull that? Can you see what he said on Twitter? Apparently, Khabib has said some things.
Oh, did he? No, I can't.
No.
What did Khabib say?
I don't know. I just saw the alert. It said Khabib has weighed in. Are you still with us?
All right, this is what he says. Okay. Nurmagomedov says, this is what happened when you change your team, leave the sparring partners who made you a champion, and sparring with little kids far away from reality. Is that not exactly what I just said?
He ain't coming back. Not to so in addition to all of that, there was another court case that was swept under the rug by the fanboys this week, and
another sexual assault case. Yeah.
Well, and according to Conor and his team, this is old news, and it's not old news. It's a new filing. What up, Mike? It is a new filing, and the case is being continued. And so we're going to hear more about it. And the thing that's always frustrating to me, it's like no one's allowed to ask that question. No one's allowed to ask Conor that question because you might upset Dana. You have to ask the question because of what you just said. These are things that become factors in how you go about your fight business, because you can't have a case like that pending and not think about it.
Yeah.
It takes up mental space.
And again, even if guilty, innocent until proven guilty, man. Maybe it's nothing, but it's something. Fighters are fighters. I would say more so than even everyday professional athletes, NFL and everything. They're mental creatures. Mm-hmm. So all of this going on, but you got to think about Conor McGregor puts himself in some of these situations. Attacking the bus, punching the old man, doing those things.
And now your girl is mad because, like, this ain't the first name that I done heard you connected with. So I'm sure you're hearing that at home. That.
Yeah. Are they married? Is he married to Dee?
I don't know. I believe she's
either
right
way.
Now.
His baby mama,
yes,
his baby mama is in his ear. Yeah, she's standing by her man, but she is in his ear and up his ass, which she should be.
Yep.
But it's different. You look at the different camps, man. Dustin Poirier's got this thing going on with his wife and his kids, and he's trying to help kids in his area and everything. And I'm not saying Dustin Poirier is a perfect person because everyone's got skeletons or whatever. But I'm just saying, leading up to fights like this, how much does Conor McGregor really care about fighting anymore? And I think this loss is going to tell us everything we need to know. Mm-hmm. Does he double down and get back into it? Just like Nurmagomedov said on Twitter, does he get back to the people who brought him to the dance and then actually care about his fighting instead of all these people that are now just hanging on for the celebrity and everything else? That's the most telling thing that's going to come out of this main event for,
How mad is Dana? Like, how, freaking frustrated right now? Because you didn't just, lose your superstar. This dude was exposed. He's messing up your money. All this, imagine how much you could be. Khabib ain't coming back. And you can't put Conor, you cannot justify putting Conor in that title fight. Even if Dustin gets hurt or something happens and he can't make it, you still can't justify putting Conor in that fight.
No, man. Because besides, knocking out a very washed up Donald Cerrone, what has he done lately? Nothing besides court cases and everything else and getting his ass whooped. That's all he's done. So, Dana is Dana's cutthroat. He is methodical and everything. He'll come out and say, well, that's what happens, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, inside he's seething. He knows he could have made more money if McGregor would have done what McGregor was supposed to do. Go out there. He
just effed up the bag.
And he could have put McGregor against any number of these guys, against Chandler. Oh, imagine McGregor against Chandler. That would have been a great super fight. I think that would have been truly a super fight. Him against Gaethje would have minted money, man, to see those guys in there swinging for the fences at each other.
Yeah.
And now none of that can happen, at least not now. But, weirder things have happened. McGregor is still, even with the loss tonight, McGregor is still far and away their biggest star outside of maybe, John Jones?
Yeah. That's it. You got to put Adesanya in there as well.
Yeah.
It's just the international aspect of it. But, that's it.
But nobody generates like Conor, and Khabib is allegedly retired. So who else do you have? That's going to be something to check out over the next few weeks. And Dana gets on record and spins it all, man.
What a freaking main event. So you want to talk about, what did you put the hot sauce on?
Okay, so I didn't have anything prepared to put it on, so wings or anything, and I just wanted to taste it by it.
You just put the shit on a spoon?
No, I put it on some tortilla chips.
Oh, okay.
Have some tortilla chips. Anyway, so my quick and dirty review of this, and I'm not just saying it because Dustin Poirier won tonight. Here's the whatever Poirier's Louisiana style hot sauce. where Tabasco is very much, you get a lot of that vinegar flavor and things like that. This isn't like that. There are hints of the vinegar and things like that, but it's very much a great blend of spices. And I'm not sure what spices they use. I haven't done any research beyond just
It
picking
just
up
says
the bottle.
spices on the bottle.
Yeah, it just says spices and stuff, but a heat level on the back here, and it's medium, so it's not hot. It's not going to burn your mouth off or anything else. It's definitely I love hot sauces too. I got another pack of hot sauces. But it's just something that I do. Now, do I think this is going to be a proper 12 level of success for Dustin Poirier? I don't know, man. They have to get into some supermarkets first.
Yeah.
And in that area, I know there's different supermarkets. One's called HEB, another one's called Market Basket. I think if they could get the hot sauce into those stores down there in the South, man, and especially, hey, he just knocked out McGregor. I would use that, and he gave McGregor a bottle of this stuff. So
hell yeah, use that in the marketing, son. Move some hot sauce.
Yeah, it'll knock you on your ass, just like it'll knock the Irish right out of you. So there you go.
Hey, you mentioned Amanda Nunes. She was called out tonight.
Who called her out?
Oh my goodness, it was so freaking. Someone she was supposed to fight, but
was it Pena?
Yes, so it was Pena. Funny thing is, so she called her out. She said, "Stop ducking me." So Amanda immediately takes to Twitter and was like, "Ducking you? Like, what happened to when we were supposed to fight and you decided not to?" And then Nina came behind it and says, "Yeah, twice." So I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen. But hey, I'm mad at her.
Ducking Pena. I guess
I'm not mad at her. Shoot your shot, girl.
Yeah, go ahead. Get out there and get those hands, man. Get some of that. She'll put some of that Dustin Poirier hot sauce on that.
But you know what? Dustin had, I think, an Amanda Nunes moment in that when Amanda fought Ronda Rousey, it was all about Ronda. And to the extent that, like, they would barely even let Amanda speak at a press conference. And when she won, she was like, forget about Ronda. Like, I'm here. Like, this is my belt. And it kind of feels like that's what happened with Dustin. Not only were people just primarily talking about Connor's return, Connor's potential win, they're talking about the next fight that Connor would have with Habib. And like Dustin just had to go out there and remind people that he was not the B-side.
Yeah.
He was on that same, in the same cage with the man. And so could he go on that run at lightweight? If Habib isn't there, I think it's possible.
Yeah. And that's kind of why Dana, people might wonder why Dana would be upset, and there you go right there. I mean, Dustin Poirier he's that guy who, he doesn't care about all the other stuff. If he didn't have to do press, he wouldn't do. He's a fighter, man. He wants to just, I'm going to go see my family and, raise my kids and stuff like that. And then I'll fight. And then I just want to go home again. And that is really great for Dustin Poirier, but that's not good for the UFC. And Dana is all about the UFC. And so Dana's like, hey, man, I need you to go out there and lose. So the guy who can get on the cover of ESPN, no problem, and on the cover of, Hose Quarterly, every other time, he can do that. That's what Conor McGregor can do. And that's what he hopes that guys like Israel Adesanya can do. And that's what John Jones can do and stuff like that. But who else can do it? Justin Gaethje has already told the world he hates the press. He hates doing all this other crap and everything else. Tony Ferguson's got a screw loose right now. Olivier is Brazilian. Rafael dos Anjos is Brazilian. They kind of get it and they kind of don't get it. And there's a kind of a language barrier there a little bit. So, was Dana hoping? Yeah, he was hoping. But that's, but so you have to, market it a different way. It's a different way now. Now you have two bona fide champions. Michael Chandler is ready, willing, and able, and they're going to be showing that knockout of Dan Hooker from now until Kingdom Come, until Jesus come back, trumpets down, all that stuff. And then Dustin Poirier's got that freaking, he's finally got that highlight that he needs.
Finish.
to hopefully they can, maybe they make him a star, man. I
Both
don't
of
know.
these
Maybe,
guys took
maybe,
minimal damage too. Like they can come back. I mean, Dustin did go around,
yeah.
so a little bit longer than Chandler, but they took minimal damage. Like you can make that fight for March if you want to.
Yes, you absolutely could. And that's the beautiful thing about it. You could make it for March, April, somewhere around there,
Mm-hmm.
and still get that time in. And maybe Dana's still working on that because it could be Habib still takes Ramadan off around that
Yes.
time, and then he doesn't fight any. So you get a fight in there, you name a new champion, and maybe Dana can spin his wheels and do his little black magic Dana thing, and then he can talk Nurmagomedov into coming back if that's gonna happen, man. So
Bring that bad boy to Vegas. That's all I'm saying. Well, Habib is not going to fight in Vegas anytime soon. Like he just,
he don't
you know.
like it here.
Well, they got in his pockets. Got in his pockets. You can't jump on the top of cages around here and like eagle kick people in the head. I understand you're mad, but it's not something you can do. Mike's noticing your fresh cut. You did get a haircut, didn't you?
Man, yeah, I got to, man. I saw my guy Mike Price get a haircut, and I noticed you don't have the bed head anymore and everything. So I was like, I can't.
Listen, it was funny because we decided last minute, let's go, and I had the little doll brush in my hand, and I was like, okay, let's do it.
So we got, very quickly before we go, we got a couple of events just right around the corner, like usual. February 6th, the return of the Reem and Alexander Volkov. And then your guy, Usman, defends his title against Gilbert Burns, man, February 13th. The next UFC pay-per-view. That looks like it's going to be a pretty good main event if the MMA gods allow.
Right, and MMA and the COVID. I don't think ain't no God and no COVID, but if we can get the juju right, and shake off the COVID, and hopefully nobody.
Yeah.
But that is going to be a factor. Let's see how Gilbert has recovered from that. I've been talking to some fighters who are saying like they're still feeling like some lung stuff happening as a result. So yeah, we'll see.
And then again tonight, it was announced Stipe Miocic will have a second run-in with one Francis Ngannou. UFC 260 on March 27th.
I like it.
There you go. So they got a run of cards coming up that all have pretty good main events. So UFC is kind of hitting that spring stride that they usually do. So hopefully at some point we start seeing some fans come back in there. Hopefully these COVID numbers start dropping.
Well, Dana said that he is not going to have it in any other arena in the United States besides Apex if he cannot sell it out.
Right.
I don't know. I don't even think they can do that in Jerry World. I think they're still limited to 25% there, even in good old Texas, and I think Florida's the same. So,
and Apex is the safest place. They can control everything.
We'll see.
We've seen by far, man. We've seen what's happened this year. The NFL kind of limped through a few weeks of teams rescheduling and them juggling things, and so many players catching it. And I mean, we're dealing with it now, even in the middle of the playoffs. COVID don't care. I know that, but at the same time, rather than travel around, the country, to have the Apex
lock
right
it
there.
down. Even though that bubble's like a little bit of a sieve these days. Just saw the alert. Connor's on crutches, so
he got that leg tore up.
Yeah,
got that leg tore up.
He was in a fight.
Yeah.
He was in a fight.
Yeah, he got them soft rich man legs now. He may look like a fighter, but he got them soft legs now, man.
Got that meat tenderized.
Yeah, he was just laying on the beach a couple weeks ago. Follow his Instagram. He was just doing that. Dustin Poirier he was running through the swamps, of Louisiana,
running from alligators.
Gators chasing him, nipping at his heels, man.
Grabbing some crawfish and Run
Yeah,
from alligators
there
after
you
food,
go. Eating some crawfish, all that stuff, man.
which is gross, by the way. I don't know. I don't understand the whole crawfish
Come
thing.
on.
There's nothing in there. You
We
just
got enough
like
time for me
sucking out
to
crawfish
decipher all that.
juice. Just bug juice. I don't get anyway. Never
All
mind.
right. Yeah, well, okay. So that was it. That's post fight show for UFC. Great night of fights, man. Great.
Yeah.
And this was actually, yeah, this was I just realized now it was my return to levels after the.
Yes, as
disaster.
since December. That's what Mike was saying. The return of Jeremy Long.
Oh, okay. No, I don't pay attention. So
No, we got it.
my wife tells me anyway, or whatever. I don't listen to half the stuff she says.
You're lying.
Yeah.
You're lying.
Coming in this room, isn't it? But okay, guys. Well, next week we'll be back. We'll have some more. And if you guys missed it, just a couple of days ago, your interview with the champion, Michaela Mayer.
Yeah. Good talk with her. Good talk. She was trying to get back for March, but because ESPN is really blocking out dates for March Madness, they had to bump her, so she may be back in May. So we're keeping an eye out for her. So she left camp, going to do something a little different, stay in shape. But other than that, we'll see her back in early summer.
Yeah. And didn't we just see some news with Clarissa Shields?
Yes, Clarissa Shields is headlining an all female card in, I think it's February 27th or something. Yeah, February 27th in Detroit. So adjacent to Flint, where she is from. It'll be on Fight TV. First time since 2001 that women's fight has been at the top of a boxing card.
Been too long, man. And we'll see what all this time off for Clarissa Shields, has done to her too, because she hasn't fought in a while.
Yep.
In a while, and that's a damn shame. So, thanks everyone for tuning in, leaving comments. We appreciate you guys. Hope you enjoyed the fights. Hope you
get some hot sauce.
Yeah, get some of that Poirier's Diamond hot sauce. It's not even called Diamond hot. It's just Poirier's Louisiana hot sauce. He missed an opportunity there. And 2021, don't be like TC Martin, man. Get you a nice phone. All right.